Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well. Today is August 29th, and it is Friday. Did a little TikTok live earlier, so hello to all the people who are new from TikTok live for one, but also go check out the TikTok lives. I try to do them on Fridays. If I'm going to be live, it's going to be on a Friday. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. Outside of that, though, hopefully all you guys are doing well. It's been an interesting day in the news world, so let's get into it. Subscribe if you're new, by the way. Anyways, moving on into the Trump administration segment, the first topic we have today is Trump is set to raise immigration raids in blue cities. Trump supporter czar has told reporters, that federal authorities plan to increase immigration raids in Los Angeles and other sanctuary cities, Chicago also being a top target. Tom Homan said, "You're going to see a ramp up in operations in New York. You're going to see a ramp up in operations continue in LA, Portland, Seattle, and all these other sanctuary cities that refuse to work with ICE." I expect these targets to be in, many of the populated sanctuary cities throughout the United States. And, best believe if I see anything in Denver, I will be shouting. Don't let people get caught up. If you see ICE, make it known by the people around you and the public around you. These agents are hurting communities. They are hurting families. They are hurting friends. So don't let them win. If you see an ICE agent, speak out. La Migra is the best course of action. That's what I do when I see any of them. Just shout out La Migra. Anyways, moving on to moving on to another topic, if I could speak. Trump has canceled Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection. Trump has revoked Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection. Historically, former presidents have gotten protection for life, and vice presidents have only received protection for 6 months after leaving office. Normally, Harris would have lost protection in July, but it was extended a year via directive signed by Joe Biden, which hadn't been made public until now. Trump's letter to the Department of Homeland Security said, "You are hereby authorized to discontinue any security-related procedures previously authorized by the executive memorandum, beyond those required by law or following individual, effective September 1st, 2025, former Vice President Kamala D. Harris." This is unfortunate, but it isn't shocking. Trump has attacked his political opponents, left and right across the board, especially Harris. I'm assuming she got an extension because she was running for office. Candidates normally get Secret Service while they're running to become president. But also, this isn't really out of the ordinary, not that. Let me rephrase that. Her losing this isn't really out of the ordinary. She got it for a few more months, longer than she was supposed to. As mentioned, she would have lost protection in July. It is now August. So it's not shocking. She got longer than most vice presidents do. It's really whatever. It's not like it was important, or it's not like she was going to have it right now normally. And I truly think that she just got it because she was a candidate, or running to be a candidate, or running to be president, not running to be a candidate, which would make sense. It really would. So that's my thoughts on it. In other news, if you read the title, you're interested in this one. J.D. Vance said he is ready to become president of the United States. J.D. Vance said he was prepared to become president if something were to happen to Trump. Vance said on USA Today, "Yes, terrible tragedies happen, and if, God forbid, these terrible tragedies, I can't think of a better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200 days. He continued, "I feel very confident that the President of the United States is in good shape and is going to serve out the remainder of his term and do great things for the American people." I've said it before, and I'll say it again here. We do not want J.D. Vance to become the president. Sorry, at all. That would be so many times worse than Trump. And I need you all to understand that. I know a lot of you do, but not everyone does. J.D. Vance is 41 years old, which makes him more relatable for this younger MAGA audience, which is a lot more susceptible to all of this, which does exist too. Like, there is a very popular younger MAGA base. I know a lot of people say, Well, his own party doesn't like him, but that doesn't matter. Just as Trump is a figurehead being controlled behind the scenes, so will JD. And it will be hundreds of times worse when he is relatable to this young man. He's 41 years old. A lot of these MAGA young people are in that age of 21 to 40, and then it kind of gets higher when it gets towards the older ages. But a lot of this demographic he fits in, and it would make it so easy for them to gain a lot more traction. I mean, that's why Hitler was so popular during World War II in Germany, because he was young and seen as a relatable individual who had been treated poorly by the government. And that's how a lot of these MAGA people feel. It would be a great way, essentially, for them to not only gain more traction, but to gain control. That is why I see JD Vance as a 100% problem. And if you don't see that, hopefully you kind of understand why now. Anyways, moving on to another topic, as an appellate court has ruled that all of Trump's tariffs are unconstitutional. An appeals court has ruled that most of Donald Trump's tariffs are illegal. The court said in their ruling, the statute bestows significant authority to the president to undertake the number of actions in response to a declared national emergency, but none of these actions explicitly include the powers to impose tariffs, duties, or the power to tax. This will impact tariffs which Trump has classed as reciprocal, and does not impact tariffs on legal authority for things like sheet metal, steel, aluminum imports, all those other things. This is expected to be appealed by the Supreme Court. This is for now a massive win. Will the Supreme Court likely change this decision? Yes. Trump has the Supreme Court really in the palm of his hands. Is he going to continue to use this to his and he's going to continue to use this to his advantage? Sorry. It sucks that there's really nothing can do, and there's really nothing any other politicians can do. But that's why we need term limits, and that's why we need a change in who gets to pick these Supreme Court justices. Honestly, I would say let the people vote on it. Let them vote on judges throughout the country, kind of similar to how the Pope is chosen a little bit. Hear me out. Kind of similar to how the Pope is chosen. Maybe the people get to vote on a selected number. The people don't vote on the Pope. But the people get to vote on a selected few who have been chosen to maybe be good Supreme Court justices, and whoever wins gets to become that Supreme Court justice. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But they have to be a judge already. They have to be upgraded to the Supreme Court justice. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment for tonight, we have two topics. Two key Republicans have decided not to run again. U.S. Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa is expected not to run for re-election next year. She intends to announce her decision next week, according to a new report by CBS. This makes her the second Republican senator to decide not to run again, as Tom Tills of North Carolina announced his retirement after voting against Trump's big, beautiful budget bill. Is this a good thing? Yes, absolutely, 100%. But it is very likely that they will just be replaced by other Republicans. Both of their districts are Republican dominated, and although I think we will see some flip, I won't think it will be all of them. As nice as it would be to see this massive blue wave throughout districts throughout the country, a lot of these red districts are still fans of Trump to some degree, or still have a large majority of people who are fans of Trump. So I'm sure we will see some change, but I'm sure it won't be a lot. But I do think that Democrats will win midterms, absolutely, if the elections are fair and free. Anyways, though, moving on into our final topic for tonight, the Missouri governor is looking to call a special session for redistricting. Missouri lawmakers are going to return to the state's capital next week in order to gerrymander the state's congressional map. They will also be debating on a constitutional amendment on the 2021 ballot that would make it harder for voters to challenge the Constitution through the Constitution through the initiative petition process. Both proposals, created by the state's governor Mike Kehoe, has been expected as they are facing pressure from the Trump administration to do so, and have for the past few weeks. This is unshocking and was honestly bound to happen. They have two Democratic seats within the state, and I'd imagine they'd be targeting both. Redistricting in general is a stupid concept, but if you're going to do it, you might as well go all the way. But I really hate this redistricting. I've said it time and time again. It goes against democracy in every way. It takes away millions of people's rights to votes and voices in a vote. Not really their rights to. They can still vote, but they lose their voice. Which is truly, truly a crazy impactful thing. With that being said, though, hopefully you all enjoyed today's episode. If you are new here, please subscribe. We are on our way to 500 subscribers, and I would really appreciate all the support. If you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing. All funds go to me. They will help me pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like food, like clothing, like all those kinds of things. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. It means the world to me. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode, and I will see you all in tomorrow's news recap.